Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. We are going to learn more about how to manage your credit. Oh, I'm telling you, we're switching over from thinking about debt to managing credit because credit is a positive. Debt seems to be a negative. So we don't want to focus on the negative. We want to focus on the positive this morning. And we already have someone up on the stage who wants to say something this morning. Do you have a question or a comment, sir? And he says he's going to be driving, so he doesn't know if he's going to be able to speak all the time. It is ECMD experience. Did you have a question or comment, sir?
Not right now.
Not right now? Okay, then. So what we're going to do is tuck you right back into the audience until you do have a question. And when you do, please come on up. All right? There we go. All right. So listen, folks, if you have a question or a comment this morning, come on up to the stage. If you want to see the examples that we have on the screen, you want to go, oh, you know what? I didn't put my link at the top. Let's do that. You want to go to YouTube and so that you'll be able to see our so you'll be able to see our screen. Hold on for just a second while I pin my link to the top. ICE 10K.com. There we go. All right. So you want to be able to see that. Listen, there's some valuable things in this business card. Oh my. One is if you are a follower of the P.I.L.L method, if you're a follower of the P.I.L.L method and you are excited about what we're talking about, you want to share this information with others. Yep, you want to share it. And when sharing it, you can also benefit your family from sharing. Oh my goodness, sharing is caring. And if you want to share with other people, you can help care for your family as well. And here's how. By touching on that button that says that you can become one of our referral partners. Let's go there today. Let's do that right now. Let's click on that link. Go to the link, ICE. Now, if you're watching us online, go to ICE10K.com, ICE10K.com, and then you'll see the very first button that says become an affiliate of the P.I.L.L method. It takes about 15 seconds to fill out, absolutely free. And if you want to help get this message out, all you have to do is refer people to our YouTube channel. They watch a few videos, you call them back within 48 hours and ask, do they want more information? If they say yes, then you fill out the information that's right underneath. Refer your family and friends to the interest cancellation expert. Fill that out with their name and put your name in the referral partner slot. And then when they become a client, we will send you $300 and you get to choose how you want it sent. And listen, we're giving you Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. Okay. The only thing we don't have is carrier pigeon. So, so what you want to do, folks, is share this information out with folks, and then you will be able to not only help others, but help yourself. Listen, I'm looking through the audience. I don't see any hands raised, but listen, let's jump right into this thing. I need you, if you want to see this, get a secondary device, go to YouTube and search P.I.L.L method, and you will be able to see our live broadcast. All right. Because right now we're live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and LinkedIn. But we're trying to grow our YouTube crowd. But so if you want to go to YouTube, but you can go to any of those platforms that we mentioned so that you will be able to see what's going on here. So I've got something on the screen right now. And we're going to jump into this before we get into the other things that we do. Oh, man, people are starting to come over. People are starting to come over. All right. Now, watch this. Here is a $75,000 mortgage. It's just $75,000, folks. That's it. 75 grand. All right. And as far as mortgages go, that's pretty small, but it's still a lot of money. And everyone would love to get a 0% interest rate. So if you have a 0% interest rate, that means you can, every dollar you pay goes towards paying down the loan. And you know that there's still a lot of there's still car companies that are offering 0% interest. Furniture stores are offering 0% interest. There are some credit cards that offer you to come on to get their credit card that say, listen, we'll give you 0% interest on purchases for 12 to 18 months. Man. All right. So what is better than a 0% interest loan? I mean, it's like, have you ever heard of layaway? So you want to buy something, but it stays in the store. But you continue to pay interest free. All right. A little bit weekly or monthly until the thing is paid off. And then you get to take the thing home. So listen, this is similar to that. But there are, the President's Day sale is famous for mattress sales. And you can get a mattress on this sale at 0% for 12 months. We just had a guy come over to our house who looked at our house and it says, listen, we can do some improvements on your house. We can do some improvements. And by making these improvements, guess what? We can get you 0% financing. So guess what, folks? What do you think? Do you think I jumped on that 0% financing, or did I say, nah, charge me interest? Charge me interest. I jumped on that 0% financing. All right, I'm going to improve my property. I'm going to increase its value. And you're going to lend me money at 0% to get the work done? Oh, you better believe it. But what happens when you can't get 0%? You want the next best thing. You want to pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you. Now, this is not something that is across the board going to be the same technique for every person that's listening to me or watching me online. All right. Oh man, it's beginning to grow. It's beginning to grow. Listen, brother AJ here online says, you jumped right on it. You better believe I jumped right on it. 0% financing. Psh, you better know it. So let me tell you something about this financing that we see here. I'm going to also pull over every now and then an amortization schedule. And somebody asked me the other day, what amortization schedule do I use? For training purposes only. This is not what we use to manage our clients' debts, because managing somebody's finances with a manual calculator is not feasible. All right. Because when you have an amortization schedule and you pay anything out of the ordinary, even $1 on principal, it changes the whole amortization schedule. You have to get a new one. This is why we have an AI system that does all of the work for us. But for educational purposes, we use Mr. Brett Wissel, BRRRRR BrettWissel.net. So we're going to put that in the screen here, and I'm going to bring up Mr. Brett Wissel, and I'm going to pull that over so we can take a look at this $75,000 mortgage here. $75,000 at 6%. No, oh no, this is 7%. Okay, 7%. I want to show you a 7% loan. All right, and what 7% actually means. So we got $75,000 at 7%, and I'm going to bring that over. I need you to see this. All right, 75,000 at 7%. I see Steve that's just jumped in here. All right. I see Armin from Palatine, Illinois. Listen, Armin, thank you. So Armin said, listen, Don, I got your email this morning. See, we have a new email campaign going out, and we made a mistake. We put the wrong time in. But Armin knew that our regular time is at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, Central, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And he let us know. So we're going to get that fixed, Armin. I appreciate you, man. We're going to get it fixed. All right. So thank you for being here. And everybody else who's here from Clubhouse, if you want to see what's going on now, go to YouTube so you can see what's going on. Here's a $75,000 mortgage at 7%. All right. The payment, come on now, the payment is only $498.98. $498.98. Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. Look at this. Now, if you have a $75,000 mortgage at 7%, the bank wants $104,000 in interest for 30 years. That's what they want. $104,000 in interest at 7%. Now, you tell me, is $104,000 7% of $75,000? You tell me. What do you think? Absolutely not. All right. So I've got Aaron Jones here saying good morning to us in Clubhouse. And let me see here. Somebody else, Mr. David Mason, is trying to sell something that doesn't work in my back channel. So we're going to delete that right away. Get that out of here. All right. But Aaron Jones says, I'm just joining. All right. Just joined. Great, great, great. Steve Mack is here. All right. So listen, we're going to get into this thing. So here's my question. Is $104,000, is that 7% of $75,000? No, it's not. I mean, that's not, listen, I don't even have to be a math genius to know that. All right. What it is it's, if you look over to the right here, it's 139.51%. It's 139.5%. That's almost 140%. So what is the real interest rate here? 140%, because that's how much interest you're going to pay back over 30 years, $104,000. Now, let me show you what we can do about that. Here we have $75,000. All right. And this lady only has about 15 years left on this loan, only 15 years left on this loan. All right. So we're kind of deep into it already. But even 15 years in, I need you to focus here on this line here. The bank wants at this point $46,342. $46,342. And by working with the P.I.L.L method, using her current budget, she's only going to pay $7,745. What? And not pay off in 15.1 years. She's going to pay off in 2.5. 2.5 years. That's saving 12.6 years on this loan. Not only that, folks, but it's a $38,000 interest savings. $38,000 interest savings. That's 83% discount rate. Listen, she's had this loan for a while. She came to us and says, I paid a lot of interest already. Let's see how much interest she's paid already, because right now she still owes $75,000. And if we take a look at that, if we take that all the way back, all right, we take that all the way back to the beginning, we can actually see what she paid from the beginning. Now, I need a little bit more data to do that. But listen, she's already paid a ton of interest on a 30-year loan. On a 30-year loan, she's already paid a ton of interest to get it to here. All right, a ton of interest to get it to here. Now, so she said, I don't want to do that anymore. It's taking too long. I've been paying on this thing for 15 years and I haven't even paid off half. I haven't even paid off half, and I've been paying on it for 15 years. But now, instead of paying for the last 15, she's going to be done in 2.5. Now, here's the thing. It has nothing to do with going out and making more money. It has everything to do with paying less interest. And if you can't get a 0% interest loan, then you need to pay the least amount of interest that you possibly can, and then get a what we call an interest rate the effective interest rate. The effective interest rate. Now, what is the effective interest rate? The effective interest rate means this. What interest rate would we have to get from the bank in order to pay this small amount of interest? So this is what we have here. Let me blow this up just a little bit, Kurt. All right. Here's what it is. I need you to read this under the $7,745. Read this. You would need an interest rate of 0.66% to pay this little amount of interest on a new 30-year loan. Folks, have you ever heard of a mortgage at 0.66%, less than 1%? Listen, if you can't get a 0% interest rate, then you want the very next thing. You want the best next thing to 0% that you can get using your current budget and not, watch this, and not affect your lifestyle. You can still live well. And see, it's not about how fast you can pay off the debt or how much money you can throw at it. It's about disrupting the bank's timing and giving them the money that you owe in a certain way that doesn't disrupt your budget, doesn't disrupt your lifestyle. Give them their money in a way that it makes it impossible for them to charge you all of that interest and get an 83% discount on your money. If you would like to get a huge discount on the loans that you already have, put a number 9 in the chat. Put a number 9 in the chat if you're online. If you're in Clubhouse, put a number 9 in the chat if you'd like to get a big old discount on the amount of money that you're paying the bank on your mortgage, on your credit cards, on your student loans that seem to hang around like household pets, on your car loans, whatever loan you have. How would you like to borrow money at a discount even after you've already signed for the loan? What? You know what? Okay. I see some number 9s coming here in the chat. You know what? Do you hate it? Do you just hate it when you go to the store and you buy something? You buy something and then a week later, the sale comes out and it's like 50% off. Okay, but you've already bought it. Here's what I need you all to realize. Even if you already closed on your loans, even if you've been in it for a year or 2 or maybe even 5 or maybe even 10 or like this lady for 15 years, you don't have to restructure the loan. You don't need to change banks. You don't need to change mortgage companies. You just need to change the game. How do you change the game? By learning the rules. You need to learn the rules to this game. And here at the P.I.L.L method, we make sure you know the rules. And here, once you know the rules, you can pay a lot less interest. So the key to getting out of debt, folks, the key to getting out of debt is not coming up with more money. The key to getting out of debt is paying a lot less interest, because that has been the problem all along. Oh my goodness. Watch this. So this is just one. This is just one. So let me change to another one. All right. Let's change to another one. All right. Here is another one. This one is $89,000 left on the mortgage, $27,000 in other loans. All right. And oh, look at here. There's somebody from LinkedIn. All right. LinkedIn says, listen, they don't want to pay all that money either. All right. LinkedIn user, listen, because of how you came in, we can't see your name. So LinkedIn user, if you would like to go ahead and put your name in the chat, if you want to, then I will announce that you're here as well. All right, LinkedIn user, go ahead and put your name in the chat there. All right, so here's what we've got. We have a total of $123,351.45 here. All right. And with that, here's how much interest the bank wants on this thing. $45,075 in interest. And they want you to pay it over 21.8 years. 21.8 years. Listen, folks, we're not supposed to be in long-term debt. Did you know that the average family has 13 different debts? The average family has 13 different debts, and they're going to take greater than 30 years to work on those debts and never pay them off. 9 out of 10 people will never be out of debt because of how it's taught, because of how we manage our credit. We've been given faulty information how to do that. All right. Good day, Paul Davey. Paul, are you from Ireland, man? Listen, on YouTube, watching us from Ireland. Listen, I hope that's what that means. All right. Thank you, Paul, for being here today. So, folks, here is what we have. It is not paying back the $123,000. That's the problem, because we've already said if we can get that $123,000 at 0% interest, we could be out of debt quick, fast, in a hurry, couldn't we? Yes. There would be no reason for the P.I.L.L method if all loans were 0% interest. The reason why we're here, the reason why the P.I.L.L method is here, it is because there are loans that are not 0% interest that are lying to you from the very beginning. When 7% really doesn't mean 7%, when 7% really means 139%. When this loan here, this mortgage here is at 3.75%. Oh, that's got to be better. That's got to be better. But let me tell you, let me put any loan at 3.75%. We're going to put in $89,000. Okay. 89. Let's just round it up to 90,000. Okay. Just to be quick. $90,000 at 3.75%. Okay. 3.75%, 360 months. Look at there. Look at here. I need to show you. All right. Let's pull this over. Boom. Right there. 3.75% really means 66%. Right there. 3.75, $90,000 for 30 years. The bank wants $60,000 in interest. We have got to get smart about these loans. And what do I mean about getting smart? You have to receive proper education. And the education on understanding how these loans work is not part of our schooling. It is not part of the curriculum. It's not in our books, folks. I don't care where you are in your education. All right. I don't care where you are. It's not there. Whether it's in junior high, high school, whether it's in college, whether you're in grad school, whether you are obtaining a terminal degree in finance, how a loan actually works is not being taught. Because once you know how they make that money, you know what to do about it. So let's go ahead. Let's break this down. Let's break this one down. All right. So I'm going to read the whole thing to you here. I'm going to read the whole thing to you. Watch this. This month, this person is going to pay over $550 in interest alone. What? $550 that's 35% of your monthly payment. You have heard me say time and time again that just the interest part, is between 35 and 39% of your take-home pay. 35 to 39% of your take-home pay is paid on interest alone. Paul Davies says, love the show. Your information helped a lot. Thank you. He says, thank you. He says, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Listen, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, folks, if you are online right now, would you share this with your community? Would you share it with your community? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we've borrowed 123,351. Here's what the bank wants you to pay back in total, 168,426. Listen, let me blow this up. Let me blow this up so people can actually see what's going on here. We need to blow this up. Boom. And so we can see what is actually happening. There it is. All right. That's 37% more than your current outstanding balance. Folks, when you have a debt, do you want to pay 37% more than your outstanding balance? You can put a yes or no in the chat. Do you want to pay 37% more just because the bank says you got to pay it? Oh, man, go ahead and share the room and invite other people in. So we can't, instead of that, we're going to pay back a total of 136,177. This is the total amount you will pay to completely eliminate all of your debts listed. That is the principal plus the interest. So let's take a look. We have 123,000, and all you're going to pay back is 136,000 principal and interest. Instead of paying 45,000. Now listen. Here's the thing, folks. Think about this. These people are gladly, they're signing these loans to be able to do the kind of work that they need to do. They need to get a car. They need to get a house. They need to pay for education. There's other things that we need to pay for. But we're being told that because you're borrowing, you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing a bad thing. And because of your mismanagement, this is why you're in debt forever. Folks, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're in the financial situation we're in because we're following the advice of financial gurus that are already out there. By following the best practices that are being taught in our schools, in our online, on TV, on radio, wherever you're getting your financial education. And if you're following it, you're setting yourself up for long-term debt. Because none of them are focusing on the true problem. The true problem is how much interest you're actually paying. Oh man, I'm looking for hands to go up, to come up to the stage and ask questions. Listen, if you if you have something to say, come on up. Let me check the, oh man, people are saying, no, I don't want to pay that. No, I don't want to pay that. Classy says no. Sean Anthony says no. Steve Mack says no. And says, no, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay more than that. So if you could do this without changing your budget, without having to make more money, would you like, if you were in this position, would you like to be able, instead of the $45,000 the bank was looking for, only pay them $12,826? You see, when we do an analysis like this, and we have verified that the information you've given us is true, we will guarantee these results in writing. If we do not produce these results for you by you following our program, you don't have to pay. We will give you your money back. Period. It's in writing. It's in writing. Wow. Wow. So Classy is asking a question here, folks. Classy is asking a question. Does the P.I.L.L method work for all types of loans or just mortgages? Classy, that is a great question. It's for all types of loans. You name it, if it carries interest, We want you to pay a lot less interest. It works. It works. It works. Watch some of my other videos, or you can do this. If you'd like to know how this would work for you and all your other loans, we're going to pause for the cause right here. And all you have to do is click that link at the top. It's that's my business card. It's ICE, stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, ICE10K.com. ICE10K.com. If you click on that, and then you'll see a button eventually that says get a savings and earnings report. Do you see this report here? You can have one of these. If your numbers are in here, and if our team verifies that your numbers that you gave us are correct, and you follow our program to the letter, yeah, it takes only about 20 minutes a month to update this program. 20 minutes a month to update the program. We will guarantee these results. There you go. We will guarantee it in writing. So to pay $12,826 instead of $45,000, that's a 72% interest savings. And you would need, from the bank to do this, you would need an interest rate of 0.67%. So, folks, if you can't get a 0% loan, if you can't get a 0% mortgage, then you need the next best thing. Oh, listen, somebody, so I think, so we've shown some relatively small mortgages here, all right? But what if we had a slightly bigger mortgage at a huge interest rate? Are you ready? Listen, if you're ready to see a different example, how about one that has a huge interest rate, all right? That 18%, all right? I'm going to show you what you could do with an 18% mortgage on our program. If you want to see what would happen, put 18% in the chat. If you are online right now, put 18% in the chat. Or if you're on Clubhouse listening, put 18% in the chat, and I will show you what happens when you have a loan of 18%. 18%. So go ahead, put it in the chat. Steve Mack wants to see it. 18%. Justin says, he says 20. Why not? Justin, how about, listen, man, I love it. Cheryl Williams says 18%. Justin, you crazy, man. Oh, man. Listen, let me show you this. Okay, let's put this in. We have a $200,000 mortgage at 18%. Let me break this down for you, what's really going on with this one, okay? So if you look, I'm going to go back here and take a look and see if anybody has raised their hand so we can bring them up to the stage. All right, if you have a question or a comment, all right? If you want to talk this morning, please help us out here. I love it when people come to the stage. So I have a $200,000 mortgage, okay? $200,000 at 6%. Okay. And let's see. You're not seeing this right now because I'm doing it on a different screen. So let me pull it over. Okay. We're going to pull it over so you can see me put it in. And if you're new to the room and you want to do this on your own, you can go to brettwhistle.net, because this is the thing that we use for our for educational purposes only. $200,000 at 6%, 360 months. All right. That's 6%, $1,199.10. But what is it at 18%? 18%. Let's take this out. Boom. $3,014.17. Now, this happens to be a loan that is on a multifamily, and these folks are pulling in about $6,000 a month on this. Aaron, I see you raise your hand. Let me see if I can bring you up. All right. Invite him to speak. All right, Aaron, listen, if you want to speak, come on up. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. What part of the country are you from, Aaron?
Right now, I'm in Tennessee.
All right, all right. Listen, Aaron, are you actually watching some of our information on YouTube or another platform right now?
I'm watching on YouTube right now.
Okay, okay. Did you have a question for us this morning?
Yes, there was a question in the chat. The I'm trying to let me see her name again. Miss Classy. She's asking,
Yes.
does the pill method work for all types of loans or just home loans?
Oh my goodness. Oh, miss, listen, man. If it carries interest, what we're talking about is we're attacking the interest. Everybody needs to stop focusing on the loan and the interest rate, but focus on the interest cost. If your loan has an interest cost, you deserve to pay less interest on your student loans, on your credit cards, on your car loans, on your personal loans, on your mortgages, on your HELOCs, on your home improvement loans. So, Aaron, if it's a loan from the bank and it carries interest, you deserve to pay less interest.
Absolutely.
Listen, has anybody ever told you, man, you deserve to pay less interest?
Never.
But does it make sense? Does it make sense that that is really the true problem? And we have been sold a bill of goods on how to handle how to handle our debt in other ways other than focusing on how much interest we pay and how to pay less?
Exactly, because I'm with an organization and they'll go through the snowball method. I remember maybe about might have been almost 20 years ago now, but um the method was it's basically a snowball method, and you start with the lowest balance or on the lowest card or lowest debt, and then you just take that minimum payment and roll it into that, and whatever you were paying on the next one, just add that to the minimum payment, and then you're out of debt. And
Mhm.
sounds good, but this
It's
one sounds even better.
listen, have you been to one of our rooms before?
No, this is my first time in this room.
Oh wow, wow, wow. So you don't know how interest cancellation works from our point of view, do you?
No, I don't.
Would you like to know?
Absolutely.
Listen, since you're watching this, we're going to take a pause here and we're going to use this 18% mortgage to teach you something about why the debt snowball is inadequate and people need to stop using it today. In fact, you say you're from Tennessee?
I sure am. Well,
Anywhere
not from, but
you're in
I'm
Tennessee
living here
now?
right now. Yep.
Are you anywhere near Nashville?
About an hour and 40 something minutes.
Okay, listen, there's a guy there that teaches in Nashville that teaches the debt snowball.
Oh, okay.
You might have heard of him. Have you heard of Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, I don't listen to him
Wait,
anymore.
wait,
I have nothing against the brother, but
yeah.
I don't have nothing against. I just don't listen to him
Okay,
anymore.
so yeah, we're not gonna say anything bad about Mr. Dave,
Okay.
but he does teach the debt snowball. What I will say is we need to stop using the debt snowball today, and you're going to help me to prove that today, Aaron, for the first time, and you're seeing this for the first time, okay? And Aaron, if you catch me in a lie, I need you to call me out. Can you do that today?
All right.
All right.
Sure will.
All right. So listen, we're looking at this $200,000 mortgage at 18%. Now, the reason why this actually works is the guy who has this loan is it's a multifamily property, and he's bringing in $6,000 a month in rents. So his payment on this is $3,014.17. Okay, so if you have a $3,000 payment, but you're bringing in $6,000, are you okay with this? Are you okay with the 18% loan if you could do this?
No, I'm not. I want 0%.
Oh man, listen, he's gonna hold my feet to the fire. Okay, but what if you heard you can't get 0%? Would this be okay?
No, I want it down to like 0%.
Okay, all right. He's not giving up, folks. He's not giving up. All right, so I need you to watch this. So here's what we're doing. Here's how much interest the bank wants on this loan. $885,101.20. That's how much interest the bank wants on this loan if we keep it for 30 years. That's the interest on the 200,000. When you add it together, Aaron, it's $1,085,000. How fair is that?
I'm just still trying to wrap my mind around this. I have, like in that movie Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, and
Yeah.
he puts the aftershave on.
Yeah.
He slaps his face. Yeah, that's one of these moments right now.
Okay. All right. So now I need you to see what's really going on with an 18% loan. It says 18%, but what we really have is over here to the right. A total interest paid as a percentage of principal is how much?
442.551%.
And that is legal.
So how do banks get away with all of this?
Because it's legal.
Man.
All right. It's legal to do it, but because we have not been educated on how it works. Listen, I've been doing this thing for 17 years, and the people that I talk to, Aaron, they've never had a class on how loans work. Listen, we're expected to use credit cards and car loans and student loans. In fact, we'll give a student that's 18 years old all the student loans that they can sign up for and never say no. What? A student can borrow all of that money with no job, but be stuck with those student loans for the rest of their life. Isn't that crazy? We're not taught how these loans work. And this is what we're dedicated to, telling you the truth about these loans so you don't have to pay all of this interest. Now, I'm going to show you some things here. I'm scrolling down here to payment number 1. It's going to be a little delayed on your screen, but let me know when you see payment number 1, Aaron.
Okay, yes, I see it.
How much out of that payment, how much money goes to principal and how much money goes to interest?
Okay, out of this is a $3,000 payment, right?
Yep, it's $3,014.17. So
the principal is $14.17. Is that it?
That is it.
Okay.
And how much is the interest?
The interest is $3,000.
So here's what just happened. You have a loan where $14.17 is actually going to the loan and $3,000 is going to the bank in interest. How crazy is that?
So if you scroll down, you're saying that the bank is accumulating. What's the difference there? The bank accumulated. Well, on that first one, that would be 2,900. Yeah, 900.
Oh no! Oh no! That's not what I'm saying at all, sir. I'm saying the total amount that's paid is $3,014.17. That's the total.
Okay. That's the total.
So they accumulated all of this money in interest, all $3,000. How crazy is that?
That's crazy, and it's a big ouch.
Okay. All right. So Ebony Ware says, Ebony Ware, who's watching us on YouTube, she says, I see it. I see it. Stop, folks. Will you invite all of your family and friends right now to sign up for our YouTube channel? If you're on Facebook, if you're watching us, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Twitter, listen, send this out to your family and friends while Aaron goes through this and teaches everybody how this works. So let's say, Aaron, we made our very first payment in March. I'm sorry, in January. We're making our very first payment.
Sorry. I have to tend to something real quick.
Okay. Come back when you can.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. So he's got to tend to something right quick. So folks, here we go. Since we're here, we're going to finish up. So we have $14.17 going to principal. If anybody else is in the audience that'd like to take over, that's watching this also online, come up to the stage and you can help me. Classy, I don't know if you are doing something else, but if you can come to the stage, or anybody else that would like to come to the stage and help read out these numbers so people can tell, so people can know I'm not just making this up. So anybody, raise your hand, come to the stage here on Clubhouse and help us out. All right. All right. So anyway, until we do, I'll keep looking, see from time to time to see if anybody raises their hand. So let's make this first payment in January. And Aaron, when you're able to come back, just jump right in and tell me you're back. So $14.17 in January goes to interest. $3,000. I'm sorry, to principal. $3,000 goes to interest. I need you to see the math on this. I'm bringing up a calculator. All right. My interest is $3,000. All right. I'm going to show you what's going on here. $3,000, but I need to divide it by the entire payment of 3,000. I'm sorry. Let's see. $3,014. We need to delete that. $3,014.17. There we go. When we divide it by that, here's what we get. Hmm. 99.5%. 99%. 99% of the money that you pay out of your payment goes to interest, and only 1% of your money goes to the loan. If you break that down per payment dollar, out of $3,014 that's paid, out of every single one of those dollars, 99 cents out of that dollar goes to interest, and only 1 penny out of every dollar pays down this loan. Folks, how fair is that? 1 penny was less than 1 penny because it's 99.5%. Okay, only a 0.5%. Tanya Trammell says, "Hi Don. Oh, this is Classy from Clubhouse. How do I come up? Go ahead, and there is a hand there's a hand at the lower right hand corner, Classy. Then click that hand, and then that will let me know that you want to come up. Okay, raise your hand. Just click that hand, lower right hand corner. I will see it on Clubhouse. There it is. There it is. All right, let's bring her up. Invite to speak. And so just unmute the mic in the lower right hand corner. Click that mic, and Classy, you're speaking. Good morning, Classy. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Don?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. This is not your first time in this room.
No, I used to come to this room a lot when the rooms first opened up, but I haven't been around in a while.
All right. And so you're watching us. So would you mind helping us this morning?
Of course.
All right. Thank you so much. So here's what we're looking at. So we've got 99.5% of all the money you just paid went to interest, and only 0.5% of the money you paid goes to pay down the loan. And we've already established that this is not fair, is it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't think so. So listen, if we make our payment in January of $3,014, we know we don't have to make another payment till February, correct?
Yes.
Now, how much, if we could take a look at our schedule here, how much money are we supposed to pay towards principal in February?
$14.38.
Do we have to wait till February to give the bank that $14.38?
No.
If we had it, could we pay that in January as well?
Yes.
If we did, guess what? The bank gets this $14.17. We're paid down to right here, $199,985.83. All right. But we're going to give the bank an additional $14.38 as well in January. So we're paid down to line 2 on our amortization schedule. Line 2. So we're paid down to here already. And then our next mortgage payment will then be on what line of this schedule? Classy?
Line 3.
Exactly. Line 3. And this is what we would pay on line 3. This becomes your new February payment, where $14.60 goes to principal and $2,999.57 goes to interest. So what happened to line 2? Completely eliminated. We just took care of line 2 with only $14.38. So classy. On line 2, what happened to the $2,999.79 in interest?
Mm, it looks like it might have gone away.
It did go away. It has been eliminated. You have just lowered your total interest cost on this loan by nearly $3,000 just by giving the bank $14.38 early. Do you think it pays to learn how to read one of these?
It does, but I do have a question.
Ask any question you want.
So if you're paying, does it matter, like, does it matter what time of the month that you pay that additional interest rate? And then what difference does it make, like, if you just double up your payments each month?
Okay, so when you say, first of all, let's talk about doubling up your payments. So our payment is $3,014 a month. What do you mean by doubling up your payments?
So either sending, like, if you have the money, and I know that's like a lot of money, but just like in general,
Mhm.
like if you have the money, like let's say send a $6,000 payment as opposed to $3,000, or send a $4,050 payment as opposed to a $3,000
Okay.
payment. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. Now, let me help you to understand what true doubling your payment really means. Okay. Here's what it means. Do you see the principal here? The principal column?
Yes.
Those are the real mortgage payments.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
interest is not a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
That's rent on your money. So a true doubling of your payment would be doubling up on what?
On the principal.
Oh, that is so good. Isn't that good?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a lot better than trying to come up with an extra 3,000?
Yeah.
Ha.
And I think I was reading that wrong too. That's a lot of interest.
Well, listen, a lot of people read it just this way. Do you know how many people are stressed when they see this? They're stressed right out of their minds. But when we learn how to read this, we're not stressed at all. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me ask you a few more questions. Do you have any more questions for me, though, right now?
No.
Listen, jump right in when you do have one, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. So now, if we pay this, so we established by giving the bank this $14.38 early, and you wanted to know, does it matter what time of the month? It does if you have more than one debt and one kind of debt. Okay? It does matter when you add in how much money you're actually making. So it gets more complicated when we look at how much discretionary income a person actually has. How much money do we have to work with? So every month we wait to do something about this, we pay a lot more interest. Would you agree?
Yes.
But if I wait a little bit, even though the loan is going to get more expensive, if I wait a little bit, I will have a little bit more money to work with because of my paychecks coming in. And maybe if I wait a little bit, I can actually do more damage to the loan by waiting. So yes, in that sense, it does matter what day I make that extra payment. Does that make sense?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So here's what I mean. Like, so this week, I have out of my paycheck, I have out of every paycheck, I have about $300 left over after all my bills are paid. Okay. That I don't have to use to pay bills. So I got $300 left over. So now I have, let's say I could put on my debt an extra $200. Okay. I could put on an extra $200 now. But if I wait 2 weeks and my loan gets more expensive, okay, my loans get more. The longer I wait, the more expensive my loans become because of daily interest. Okay, but if I wait 2 weeks, I will have another $300 I could put with it. Now I have a total of $500 because I waited. And I could put the $500 on, couldn't I?
Yes.
But if I don't wait, I only can put on the $200, and then that's all I'll do that month. So I can't save as much interest by putting it on early, but if I wait a little bit, then I could put more on. And our program actually does all of the math, so you don't even have to think about that. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
There you go. So now, what would happen? What would happen? What would happen, Classy, if I made this January payment and I did what you said? Let's double up now. Let's give the bank, well, let's triple up. Let's give them the 1438, the 1460, and the 1482. Okay? Can we do that? About 40, a little over $45. Do you think you could find an extra $45 to put on this loan?
Yes.
If you did, guess what happens to these 3 interest payments? Nearly $9,000 in interest. What would happen to that?
It knocks it out.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is really. And I think it's hard to believe because, like you were saying before, we haven't been taught or conditioned to think about loans or read them this way, and so it's just at the beginning, it could be hard to wrap your mind around that this would happen.
Exactly. So I need you to watch this. And I know it's going to be hard to believe, but it is true. Let's take a look at cumulative principal. That's column 3 and column 4. Okay. Column 3 and column 4. At the end of 1 year, 12 monthly payments, we pay this loan down by, see, when you look at cumulative principal, it adds up all these $14 and $15 and $16 payments. And when you add them all up for a year, it comes to how much money?
Oh, when the cumulative principal is $184.79.
So after 1 year of making minimum payments on this loan, you only pay it down by $184.79. How much interest does the bank want after 1 year?
Just like almost $36,000.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
So now here's my thing. If I know that I'm going to be able to, I would give the bank $184.79. Okay. All right. Ebony, I'm going to get to your question in just a second because you got some good stuff there. $184.79, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do I have to pay that $184.79 in 12 monthly installments? Do I have to do it that way?
No, I guess if you have it, you could just go ahead and pay it.
If I paid it on line 1, would I be paid down to line 12 in 1 month?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm still subtracting that amount of money, right?
Right.
Well, let's take a look. I'll put in $200,000 because that's where we started. I'm putting a calculator on the screen now. $200,000, and we're going to subtract $184.79. And what we get is $199,815.21. Isn't that the same thing that's on line 12 here?
Yeah.
How about that? Okay. So if we give that to the bank early, what happens to all the interest costs between line 2 and line 12? All of it. What happens to all of that?
It goes away. But so this sparks another question for me. And maybe perhaps you already said this, or maybe it's not like maybe it's a stupid question because I am having a little bit of a hard time following this part.
Okay.
Because with some loans, and maybe this goes to the question that Ebony put in on
Yes.
YouTube,
Mhm.
but for some loans, if you're paying, like, let's say you send the loan company the $184, like, should you be specifying on it that you want it to go towards the principal? Because won't they automatically apply it to like an interest payment instead of like an overall principal payment to now deduct these interest payments? Does my
Oh my,
question make sense?
oh my goodness. I am so glad you're here. That is a common thought and misconception. It's commonly thought that. So here's what is really going on. When you're paying back a loan, you're only looking at paying towards the money you borrowed. That is the whole purpose. So any money that you pay goes towards principal. Okay? Now, there's a thing in your mortgage, especially if you're talking about mortgages, okay? There's a page in your mortgage that's called the borrower's right to prepay. The borrower's right to prepay. Would you like to read that? Because it's right in the mortgage papers. I can pull that up if you'd like to see it.
Sure.
All right. Listen, I'm so glad you're asking these questions because without questions, folks, I'm just up here talking. All right. So I'm glad you're here. All right, asking these questions. So I'm going to pull that up. It's in my it's I got a PowerPoint with this in here. So let me see. Let me share this screen and see where it goes. There it is. You should be able to see it now. Do you see it's going to take a few seconds to catch up. Do you see the borrower's right to prepay?
Oh, yes, I see it now.
Now, this is your right. You do not have to ask for this. It's part of the loan process. Now, they have to give it to you, but they don't have to explain it to you. We're going to explain it today. How's that? Okay.
Great.
All right. Here's what it says. And it's really titled this, The Borrower's Right to Prepay. That is the title. It's right in your mortgage papers. Okay. Pull it out. You'll find it. It says here, I have the right to make payments of principal. I'm sorry. I have the right to make payments of principal at any time. Bring it back. Come on, Don. Stop messing around. All right. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. There it is. It's back. It's back. I got to wait for you. Got to wait for it to come back for you. All right. Let me know when it's back.
It's back up there.
Okay.
Now.
I have the right to make payments of principal at any time before they are due. That means when you make a regular mortgage payment or regular payment on your loan, all right, any money that you give to the bank before the next payment is due, that's called a prepayment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you have the right at any time before they are due. A payment of principal only is known as a prepayment. So we've got the definition out of the way. Now, let's look at the second paragraph. When I make a prepayment, I will tell the note holder in writing that I am doing so. Now, there's several different ways you can let the note holder know, the person that holds the loan, in writing. Sometimes they have it on their website that you can, there's a line that says principal only payments. That's notifying them in writing. You can, if it's their rules, you can add it to, if you're writing a check, you can add it to your check in the memo section, apply to principal. All right. Mm-hmm. And if that's what they're asking you to do, what they're asking you to do is follow our rules, and all banks have different rules on how to send them their money so that they can credit it properly. But it never, ever, ever goes to interest. A prepayment cannot go to interest by definition.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have another question
Go.
then. So like
Yes.
the question I asked in the chat earlier,
Mhm.
does the P.I.L.L method apply to other types of loans? So
Yes.
but this would be different, I would assume, for like maybe like a car loan or like a personal loan. They probably don't all give the option to make prepayments. Do you think?
They do give the option to make prepayments. Yes, they do.
Okay.
All of them. Every single loan. So let me ask you something. All right. Let me put it to you this way. Let's just say you get a loan. Maybe it's a car loan. Okay.
Mhm.
And you get notified that that sweepstakes thing you've been filling out for years and never won anything, you finally won.
Mhm.
You won $1 million. All right. And so now you just bought a $55,000 car. All right. And you made one payment on it. And you said, you know what? I'm just going to pay this car off. And you send them the rest of the money. Do you believe they're going to send your $55,000 back?
No.
That's called a prepayment because you paid it before it was due.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So we can make large prepayments and we can make small prepayments, but we haven't been taught that we can. And that's why it just seems so foreign to us.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So here we go. When I make a prepayment, we're in the second paragraph now. When you make a prepayment, we're going to let them know. And it says, I can make a full prepayment, which means paying it all off. All right. From my $1 million, I just paid it all off. Or I can make partial prepayments without paying any prepayment charge. There is no charge for that. Now, and so we're going to cover prepayment penalties in just a second here. But it's important to find out what happens when we do. Now, are we okay with paragraph number 2, Classy?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to paragraph number 3 now. The note holder, now this one is very important, right? And I need you to work with me on this one. The note holder will use all of my prepayments. How much of your prepayment?
All of them.
All of my prepayments to reduce the amount of what?
Principal that I owe under this note.
And the principal is the money that you borrowed, not the interest.
Mhm.
So we have it in writing that they must put that money where?
They must put it towards the principal.
They must. It's in writing. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But most people are unaware that that's what that says because they don't read that part. All right. So I see somebody else has their hand up. We're going to invite Ebony up to speak. So because maybe she has some questions as well. So we've got that part out of the way. And listen, and the rest of this says, if I make a partial prepayment, there will be no changes in the due date or the amount of my monthly payment. So your monthly payment stays the same every single month, but you can prepay, and we need to find out what happens when you do prepay. Okay?
Gotcha.
Got me. All right. So let's take this off the screen. All right. But I'm glad. Listen, if you hadn't asked that question today, Classy, I wouldn't have put that up today. So a lot of people here owe you a debt of gratitude just for asking the question. All right. So now we're looking at here. If I prepay the $184.79, I'm paid down to line 12 in the very first month, which means I'm already here. And if I did it the bank's way, I would have to pay them $35,985.25. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes better sense to me now.
If you pay it early, then they can't charge you monthly for making those $15 and $16 payments.
Right.
It has to go to principal. Boom. And that means you just saved $32,987.77. That is the on line 11. That's how much interest you just saved, because you do have to pay the $3,000 on line 1. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Oh my goodness. Listen, you're speaking with more confidence now, Classy. I so appreciate you being here. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, not right now. I'll go on mute and let some other folks ask.
All right, listen, I thank you for bringing to light some of this stuff today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for explaining.
You're so welcome. Miss Ebony, how are you doing this morning? Miss Ebony, if you want to talk, go ahead and push that microphone in the lower right-hand corner and we'll unmute you. There you are.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. What part of the country are you from?
Florida.
All right. If you will turn down the volume on your computer or your tablet, that will help me. Okay. I'm not hearing myself in the background. So Miss Ebony, do you have a question or comment for us today?
I had several. You did answer them when you were talking with Classy.
Mm-hmm.
But one question I do have, like I've been listening into numerous different people talk, and I'm grateful for this information this morning. I called my mom in to look at it. I'm like, Mom, come look at this. Like,
come on, Mom. Come on.
I wanted her to see just how paying a small part of a principal can knock out a whole lot of interest. But I've noticed, like on my car payment, I do pay like early, but they won't they don't actually take the payment until like the due date. So is this something that you have to do like in writing, like you were saying, by a check, or do you have to switch up the payment method in order to make this work for you? Do you have to call the bank and say, hey, look, I got this payment in there 2 weeks early. I need you to take it now. Like, how do you, I guess, maybe notify them that this is what you're trying to do? Does it have to be in writing? I see as part of the mortgage part, it says you have to do it in writing. But, do we have to go back to like writing checks? Because most, like me, I pay my bills online, but
okay,
is that the way it needs to be done in order for this to work?
That is a very good question. So when it says in writing here, what it really means is how your bank or credit union needs to be communicated with. How do they want to be notified that you're making a prepayment? So every bank has their own rules. So do you have your car loan with a credit union, a bank, or with the dealership itself?
Credit union.
Credit union. So what you would do is you would call your credit union and you say, listen, I want to make a prepayment. I want to put money directly on principal. What are your rules for me to do that? And they'll tell you. Okay. Now, here's what's going to happen. Now, this is different from a mortgage in this way. When they accept your payment and they apply it to principal, when they send you a notice out the next month, it will show, they're going to say, you don't owe us a full payment this month. You only owe us this much. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Okay. So your payment was applied. So when they say you only owe us this much, don't fall for that. What they're doing,
the whole amount.
Still pay the whole amount, because all you're going to do is give them back the interest you just saved. If you pay that smaller amount. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it is so important, Miss Ebony, that we know when you do make a prepayment. Now, I need everybody to listen in closely to this. We're so used to giving the bank, and I mean everybody does this. It is not just a few people. I'm talking about everybody does this. When they pay extra and it's applied to the principal, we don't know how much interest we just saved because the bank doesn't tell us.
Tell you, right.
Have they ever told you how much interest you saved?
No.
Let me ask you another question. Has it ever occurred to you to even ask?
No.
And that's the way they want it. That's the way we've been conditioned to give somebody money and not even know what we got for our money.
Right.
That is the position we're in I need everybody to realize how much in the dark or how much we're in the matrix on this thing when dealing with this loan. It is so much we do not understand when it comes back to paying back these loans. And the more we misunderstand, the more money the bank makes no matter what we do.
Okay.
So whenever we're trying to pay off the debt early or do something that's in our favor, it still takes a long time, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do. How would you like it to be done in about 6 or 7 years on everything?
Right now.
Do you also have a mortgage, Miss Ebony?
I do.
Okay, so what we're taking a look at is it's important to focus on the right loans at the right time. Okay, because one of the things that we talk about is how to get rid of all of these debts, and especially using the debt snowball to do it, because we may focus on the wrong loan because we're not focused on the interest cost. So,
Right.
Miss Ebony, you asked a question about a prepayment clause. What if there are prepayment clause in America? In America, there are virtually no prepayment penalties for residential mortgages.
Okay.
Now, in Canada, they're common. In Bermuda, they're common. In Jamaica, they're common. In a lot of countries, there are prepayment penalties on everything. But if you hear the word prepayment penalty, what does that do to you? You're wanting to pay extra.
Probably go ahead and pay it off. That means that you really will kill the interest. You still probably save more money paying it early than leaving it the way it is.
And why is that? Why is that, Miss Ebony?
Because you're still going, like, just like you just showed us, like
Mhm.
that was mind blowing
Mhm.
for a lot of us to realize that something as little as less than $15 would cut $3,000 worth of interest off of something.
Right. If you know how
Just
much
prepaying that.
exactly, if you know how much interest you're saving, then all you have to do is, well, tell me how much you're going to charge me in prepayment penalties to save $32,000.
Right.
Let me tell you something. The amount of money that they charge for a penalty is way smaller than the amount of interest you save.
Right.
This is why they never want us to know how much interest we're actually saving. How about that?
Yes, you dropped the gem this morning.
Miss Ebony, do you have any other questions for us this morning?
Not yet.
Well, you said not yet. All right. Listen, I want you to hang around. I got Classy here. I got Aaron here. I've got Ebony here. Listen, you guys are asking these questions. I appreciate you. I want to tell you right now, everybody who come up to ask a question, do you see my 10K card, my digital business card up top? I'm going to make sure, just because you asked some questions and helped me out today, I'm going to make sure that you get a digital business card sponsored by me for free. How about that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so well. Do you guys also have a business?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. So I love using a digital business card because I don't use paper cards anymore. Somebody asked me last night, it was at an event, a social event. Somebody asked me about my business card. So I let them scan my business card and my QR code and put it right into their phone. And guess what? My paper card won't be lost in the parking lot now.
Right.
So I'm going to make sure you guys get one. So I'm going to use your bio. Oh, you don't have much in your bio. Let me see here. Oh yeah. Let me see here. All right. Yeah. Ebony, let me see here. Let me check no, you don't have very much in your bio. So, I need you guys to hit me up on my Instagram and give me some information about yourselves, like the phone number you want in and the email that you want in there. in your website, your social media links and all of that kind of stuff. You put that in there, send that to my Instagram, not my back channel here, in my Instagram, and then I will be able to send you that, because you guys, everybody here has an Instagram account, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So if you don't have an Instagram account, I will take it in the back channel, but it's always better in Instagram because I'll always see it there. All right, folks. So
Yes.
thank you. So we've got some good information here, some good background information, because people ask some good questions. So now we're going to get back to boom, 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 the 18% mortgage that we put in this analysis, and we're going to show you what we did with it. Watch this. If you cannot get a 0% interest loan, what you want is the very next best thing based on the amount of money that you have to work with. I need you to look at over to the right here, where you can see that their monthly base income is they're bringing in $6,000 in rents on this property. Their monthly debt payment is $3,014. They're taking $2,000 of the almost $3,000 they have left over, and they are investing that money right back into their business. And they're taking 16.4%, $985.82. They're putting that into a bank account so that they can do maintenance and repairs on their building. All right, let me break this down one more time. $6,000 coming in, $3,014.18 in mortgage payments going out, $2,000 of their money that they're bringing in, they're investing in other stuff, and $985.82 is going into a bank account, a reserve account, just so that they can make repairs and do maintenance on their building. All right, so this is what's happening. Based on this information here, this is what we're doing. The bank wants 800. I got to blow this up. Here's how much interest the bank wants. $884,974. By the time we get through with this at the P.I.L.L method, telling them to take some of that money that is sitting in the bank account, not all of it, but some of that money that's being put in that reserve account to do maintenance, apply that strategically at certain points of the year, not taking all of it, but just a small fraction of that money and putting it on the debt. All right. And then over the next 2 or 3 or 4 months, building it back up. All right. And then taking some more money out, letting it build back up and taking some more money out. That's what we're doing there. So by doing that, we're cutting their interest costs from $884,000 down to $172,021. And that saves this real estate investor $712,953. That's how much interest they're saving. That is an 81% interest savings. Now, this is the key. They have an 18% interest loan. They couldn't get a 0% interest loan. So we did for them the next best thing. How close can we get to 0 if you have an 18% loan? I need you to take a look at this. You would need an interest rate of 4.67% to pay this little amount of interest on a new 30-year loan. So with the P.I.L.L method, you can treat an 18% mortgage like it was 4.67%. Not only make a ton of money on the front end because you're making $6,000 every month and you're only paying $3,000 of it out and keeping the rest, but now you're going to acquire the same property at say $712,000, almost $713,000 less in interest costs, because we are strategically using the $985.82. Let me show you what one of those payments would do to this loan. And it'll make more sense when you see it. So, Miss Ebony, Miss Classy, are you still both with me today?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So here's what we're looking at. I said we took out one of those payments, $984. I'm going to take a look at what would happen if we just took one of those payments out and applied it to this loan. Okay. Even if it's just one out of a year's worth. One. $984. So we're going to go down to cumulative principal. And what was it? Was that 984? No, 985.82. 985.82. $985. Here we go. $985. This is as close as I can get. 985.72. Look at that. 985.72 knocks off 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No, 48 months. 4 years. Listen, people, are you seeing this now? I need to know if you're seeing this. Are you seeing this? That you can knock off all of that, all of those payments, 4 years worth of payments, and save over $140,000 in interest. Folks, now that you can read this, does this make sense now to use the money in this way? Ebony, Classy? What do you think?
Yes, it does.
Ooh, she can read it now. So when you see a high interest rate now, and you see those tiny principal payments, it's not good. You're not going to get stressed out anymore, are you? So when you see
Yes.
a high interest rate, come on, man. So what we want, folks, we want you to know that don't be afraid of the higher interest rates. You want to work with somebody that knows what's going on with these loans, that can help you. All right. I need you to know that what we're doing here is taking an 18% loan, treating it like it was a 4% loan, because now we're learning how to read an amortization schedule. And this we have not been taught our entire lives. And this is why it sounds so foreign to us. Ebony Ware says yes. Kathy Sims says yes online. Come on, folks. Listen, we've got several people online here. We have several people on stage, also in Clubhouse, that have been here the entire time learning this. Listen, folks, if you have learned something today, all right, I need you to put and this is why we're going to put it in here, a number 7. I need to see some number 7s, and I'm going to tell you why. Because our average client pays off all of their debt in about 7 years. That is their mortgage, that's their student loans, that's their credit cards, that's their car loans, everything in about 7 years. Some take a little bit more because remember, this is an individual program. Some are a little bit less, but the average is around 7 years. So if you would like to know how this is done in 7 years, put a number 7 in the chat. Classy put a bunch of 7s in the chat. Steve Mack put 7. Shirley Price said 7. Tamala Allison said 7. All of these 7s are in here because now they are seeing the truth of the matter. We don't need to be in debt for 30 years because of all the interest paid, because no one made sure that this information was part of our curriculum in school. Ann says 7. Kathy Sims says 7. Shirley Price says 7. Tanya Trammell says 7 online. Listen, all of these folks are saying I need to pay off all of my debt in just 7 years. So, folks, if you want a savings report, now, the last part of our show, we've got 29 minutes left. I'm going to go over the last part, some of the earnings that you could do by not paying all of that interest. But if you want to get a savings and earnings report, go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com. All right. That is my digital business card. And you will find a button that says get a savings and earnings report. Fill out the information there. All right. follow all of the instructions, and then we will get that information and my staff will start working on it so that you can find out the month, the day, and the year you can be debt free and how much interest you can save. And listen to this. What can you do now with the interest you would have had to pay the bank? You can invest that for yourself, and a small portion of that interest savings pays for your lifetime program with us. Boom, that part. Okay, so now get that. When you get all that done, then we will set up what's called we'll get a consultation set up, and our consultations are only $150. That is so because our calendar fills up so fast. We don't want to have any gaps in our calendar for the day because there's so many people that want to get in. And if we gave out these consultations for free, too many people didn't show up. So we're charging $150 to get on the calendar to go over all of this information in depth with you. And we make this promise to you. If you get a consultation with us and you pay the $150 fee, if you don't get $150 worth of benefit out of that consultation, I'll just give you the money back. I don't need the $150. I just need people to show up for their appointments. That's it. Okay, show up for the appointment. If you put an appointment on the calendar, that means there's several other people that wanted that appointment time that can't get it. So that's what that's for. Assure that you can get an appointment time. But if you don't believe you got $150 worth of benefit, we'll just give it back to you. Everything we do here is guaranteed. Every single thing we do here is guaranteed. We're going to guarantee that you get value. And I mean a ton of value when you work with the P.I.L.L method. Okay, so now that you understand that part, I need you to hear from someone that has taken advantage of the P.I.L.L method, and he is the #1 motivational speaker on the entire planet. They call him E.T., the hip hop preacher. Dr. Eric Thomas has paid off his loans using the P.I.L.L method, and he talks about it. Also, he is a New York Times best-selling author. Look him up and buy his book. But listen to Dr. Eric Thomas and see what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You heard Dr. Eric Thomas talk about paying off his mortgage in record time, and his wife feels so much better. The stress has been reduced for her. You see, it wasn't about the money. It was managing the credit. And when no matter how much money you're making, you want to manage the credit successfully and efficiently. And how do you do that? Not just by throwing money at the debt. You're saying, how much do I pay so that I can save the maximum amount of interest possible? Now, if you want to know some other basics, here's a good way to get it. This last week, the P.I.L.L method book went to #1 on Amazon for the 6th time. Oh, our book went to #1 for the 6th time. Both versions of the book went to #1 on the same day. Okay, we have a Kindle version and a paperback version, and that has never happened. We've been #1 before, but both versions have never been #1 on the same day. First, it was earlier in the morning. It was, thank you, Shirley. I appreciate that. She says, congratulations, folks. If you, if the paperback went to number one earlier in the day, and then the Kindle version went number one later in the day. Shirley, it was because of you. She says, I got the Kindle version. Shirley, it was because of you that you helped bring my book back to number one again. I so appreciate you. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. See, folks, we are making sure that we're changing the game here. There is no other program on YouTube, on any platform, on Clubhouse, anywhere that focuses on making sure you pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. If you can't get a 0% interest loan, we guarantee you that our company will get you the closest to 0% that is mathematically possible if you can't get 0%. We're going to get you there as close as you can possibly get. We'll get you there. And no one on the planet can do it better, faster, or cheaper. No one, because no one else is talking about what we're talking about. And you've seen some stuff. If you're in this room now, you've seen a lot of people talking about debt, a lot of people talking about how you can manage your debt, pay off your bills faster, blah, 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 blah. But none of them talk about the true cause of the debt. It is not mismanagement. And I need you to focus in on this right now. All the people that are out there saying it's your fault because you're in long-term debt and your debt is not going anywhere, stop listening to it. Most of us are in long-term debt not because of mismanagement. We're in long-term debt because we're following the advice of the financial gurus that are out there preaching a false narrative on how to manage the debt, and they're preaching how to do it without paying attention to how much interest we're paying. So it's not your fault. I will say this one more time. It's not your fault. You just needed some information that was true about how loans work. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Not the lies, not the stuff that we've been told for years that has not been working. It hasn't been working because it doesn't address the problem, which is a ton of interest costs that we can get rid of if we work at it the right way. So, folks, I want to thank you for being here today and listening to this. So, listen, if you've been excited today, if you want, Corinne, what are you doing there without saying something? Doggone you. I love it when you come into the room. Corinne, listen, how long have you been here?
Hi, Don. Just probably 30 seconds, not too long.
Okay.
Good morning.
Because, I get to talking and I don't look at the screen. Doggone it. I know I shouldn't do that. But listen, you've been doing this a long time. You've been telling people the truth about their finances. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you feel about the P.I.L.L method. Go ahead.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm glad I didn't interrupt you, Don, because it's a line in alignment for when I get to talk, because you were speaking my language. But I just, I want to validate that. But before I do that, I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who do not know me. My name is Corinne Mills with the heart with I need to change this because people always say, what's the heart for? But it's my mother's heart. And every time I open my mouth, I show up, even when I don't speak, you see the heart, right? It's a tribute to my mom. My mom made so much sacrifices for all 6 kids, and she's still around. And I want you to pay tribute to your loved ones that you so appreciate in this life, that inspires you to do better while they're still alive. Do not wait until they're dead. So that's what the heart is for. Let me repeat: Kareen Mills with my mom's heart on my photo. And I help you make peace with your money, aka I solve your money problems through financial literacy inside my global platform, Kareen.club. And you can read the rest in my bio. But my background comes from banking, financial services, and insurance, and a total of about 22 years. I've got a accounting degree. I read financial statements, tax returns, all kinds of numbers, right? And one of the things that Don said, that it's not your fault. It really isn't your fault, because when I was in the banking industry, it is apparent, or became apparent to me, the more I learned that I was not the only person, because I came from the third world, right? I was born and raised Philippines, came to America, broke in English at 20, turned 21 the next month. And I thought that it only existed in people like myself. But the more I got deep into the banking world and the industry, the more I realized that the real problem was not really addressed in our training program. The more I realized that bankers simply have a quarterly goal. And I was one of them. You know, we had quarterly goals. And the first financial institution or banking institution I work for as a part-time teller rhymes with Hells Fargo. And
I heard you. I heard you.
when I went to the other side of the desk and I got to see how people really truly behaved around money, with, you know, massive overdraft fees, have more month at the end of the money, and all these craziness. Like, if you're living check to check, you guys, you're one of the lucky ones, because there's a lot of people that live with more month at the end of the money. They're under the waters every month, and they keep digging a deeper hole for themselves. So when that happens, it's always a chasing game. You're always chasing the money, right? And it is not the way to live. But our training program do not include how to repair that part, how to address. We're addressing our goals. You know, how many applications have you submitted today? We have a blitz today, okay? We got a blitz for credit card applications today. Doesn't matter how much approvals you have, but it's all about the numbers. And I started seeing the problem. The truth of the matter is, the problem is we're chasing our goals. And then when we go into sales meetings, it's what have you done for me lately kind of culture. You can't repair a problem from the root cause when you do that. You cannot. So I started making it a mission to, you know what, I'm going to hack this system. Because it's a system. When there is a system, you guys, start critical thinking. How can I be on the other side? How can I be on the other side, be how can I think like the bank, leveraging people rather than me being leveraged? Start thinking in that manner, because you start seeking for more information and you end up in rooms like this. When you seek for more, because you know there's always a better way, you start meeting people like Don Daniels that are hacking the mortgage amortization system. I'm telling you, I did not know how to read mortgage amortization. I work for banking industry. I moved up to VP in commercial lending. Many of us was never taught this idea. So I just want to say welcome to this room. Dawn, I could talk about this all day, every day, but I know you're probably landing your plane in this room when I popped in, but I just want to validate what you were saying as I was listening. Appreciate for you for everything that you do to change the way that people behave, because the banks do not address your activities and your behavior. They just report to their stockholders, which means they got to report it. You know, it's been earnings week for a while. Q4 earnings week. They got to report earnings to their stockholders. So if you know that particular information, even just that one particular information, you know that they have to make money. This actually makes me mad, Dawn. I get so passionate about this. Overdraft fees. It's a tax for you behaving improperly around your bank accounts. It's really a tax, but they call it a fee because you can't. It's like they're lending money to you temporarily, but they're charging you predatory charges. And they can't call it interest because if it's interest, there's a ceiling to it. They have to call it a fee. And I used to see people having 10 overdraft fees every single month, 20, 25 at $30 a pop. Ouch, that's a lot of money. And if you have more month at the end of the money, it's crazy. So you need to be going into rooms like these, you guys. Quit going into drama rooms. I know it's attractive because it has 500 people and you want to curiosity brings you in there. I go in there and I can't stand it because I have so many friends that goes in there. I hang out. I mute out my phone so I don't hear it, because you can mute out music. You can turn this into music mode and you just mute it out and you do your thing, right? But I can't stand it and I leave probably within 2 minutes. I don't sit there forever. I just want to show my friends that I'm there to support because I'm networking. And then I leave and I come into rooms like this. And you know, the banks make almost, let me see. I can't remember, but you can Google this. This is public information. Google this. How much does the banking industry make out of overdraft fees? It's in the tunes, in quarterly, by the way, not just every year, quarterly, in the tunes of billions of dollars. Now that you know it and you're educated, you cannot uneducate yourself. That's why you come into rooms like these, because you can never uneducate yourself. As long as you have a sound mind, you start looking for solutions. One of the trainings done, I did recently in Club, my portal, my global platform. One of the trainings I did was understanding overdraft fees and how to hack it, because a lot of people out there needs help how to hack these things. So Dawn, I'm handing this over back to you unless you want to be here all day. Thanks, Dawn.
You're so welcome, Corinne. Listen, I appreciate you coming in and giving it your perspective from the banking industry, letting us know that you yourself, a vice president in the banking system, can admit that you did not know how an amortization schedule actually worked either, because it's not a part of your formal education. It's not a part of your training education once you get to the institution. It's not part of your education anywhere, folks. This is why I'm telling you it's not your fault. It's not that you weren't paying attention in class. It was because there was no class. And we're bringing it to you with the P.I.L.L method right now. So I want to thank you, everyone, for being in here. And I told Ebony and so let's see who else was on the stage, and Aaron, that you're going to contact me on the back channel so that you can get a 10K card from me. And I want to show you, before we got 9 minutes left here, folks. I promised to show you something here. All right. And we're going to go back to the screen. All right. We're going to go back to the screen, put this on here. and I'm going to show you some things here on what we're doing with what's called with the P.I.L.L method. You'll use your 22 years saved to build wealth. This is your wealth building money that you're going to be able to do if you do not have to give all of this money to the bank. Right now, your wealth is being sucked out of you right now while you don't even notice it. You don't even notice. 35 to 39% of your take-home pay is paid in interest alone. I don't care how financially well off you are. And if you're paying off more money than you need to pay, you can't also invest that money. So here's a situation where we have $200,000 at 18%. And if we take that money that the bank wants and invest it for this particular client, it can turn into $1,190,000. And that's at 1% return on your money. Can you imagine just trying to invest money at 1% and it turns into $1.1 million? What if it was the national average of 6 to 10% return on your money over 22 years? Listen, I don't even want to even start to speculate on that. We use this 1% just to let you know it's possible. That's just one of the. Let me go back to one of the others we put down. Here's one just on 75,000. All right. The $46,000 that the bank wanted them to pay. And they're only going to pay $7,745 in interest. And over the next 12.6 years, they can turn that money into $502,000 in monies saved and earned by taking that interest money and investing it at 1% interest. Here's another one. So we're going to go take a look at this one. All right. Boom. Let's go down. And here's one. Instead of paying $45,000 in interest, they're going to only pay $12,826 in interest, save $32,000 in interest. And if they invest that over the next 17 years, they can, at 1% interest, they can turn that into $672,000. And here's one of my commercial partners on that has a $2 million loan at an average on two loans of 4.34%. The bank wants on $2 million, the bank wants, let me blow this up just a little bit because we're almost done. We're almost done here. Blow it up. Okay. The bank wants $1,123,195 in interest. With the P.I.L.L method, they're only going to pay $231,468. That's an effective interest rate. Now, this guy, you talk about a businessman. He's the businessman's businessman. I mean, he knows his stuff. But not even he could get a 0% interest rate. So he came to the P.I.L.L method and took his interest rates that the bank gave him, and we're going to turn that into $231,000 in interest savings. Then to be able to read this now, you would need an interest rate of 0.67% to pay this little amount of interest on a 30-year loan. Wow. Isn't that amazing? An effective interest rate of less than 1%. You can have that as well. Everybody deserves to pay this kind of interest. And I'm telling you, when you can hack this situation, when you can hack it so that you can pay this little amount of interest, it pays you to borrow. It pays you to borrow. Never pay cash for a building if you can help it. If I can borrow that money at 0.67%, I can invest my money at 7, 10, 12, 15%. I got no business paying cash for a building when I could borrow the money at 0.067%. That's saving this investor $891,000 in interest. And over the next 17 years, turn that into, at 1% return on his money, just at 1%, $9,314,909. Folks, it's not just about saving money. It's about making money. And you can't make money with the money you giving away to the banks because we just didn't know. And now, with your help, we can get this information out. So the last thing we're going to put up here, folks, the last thing we're going to put up is becoming a P.I.L.L Method affiliate. Help get this information out. I need your help. I need your help. If you believe that this information needs to go out to people, put a number 1 in the chat right now. If you believe people need to know this, put a number 1 in the chat. All right. And let me see it. Let me see those number 1s in the chat. Oh, here they come. Here they come. All right. People. Oh, here they come. William Bush, Robert Frazier, Kim Christman, Shirley Rice, Marie Brinston. Listen, they're putting number 1s in the chat. So go to my card that's up above, ICE 10K, ice10k.com. Click on that link and sign up to be an affiliate right now. So it's free. It takes about 15 seconds. Sign up to be an affiliate. And then here's what you do. We need people who have at least $100,000 in debt and have a mortgage. If they have a mortgage and $100,000 in debt, you can refer them to us by having them watch our YouTube channel. Follow up with them in about 48 hours, no longer than 48 hours. If they're still interested, then go to the same card, ice10k.com, and click the button underneath. All right. And then you can refer them to us by you filling it out. Oh, man. Ebony said did it already. Steve Mack said, okay, he wants to do it. So listen, folks, Kathy Sims put their number 1 in. Thank you so much, everybody. I want you to hear we're going to be right back here. Now, I'm going to be out of town in this next week. All right. So Wednesday, I'm actually flying Wednesday and I'm flying Friday. So we're going to be putting up some oldies but goodies on Wednesday and on Friday. On Wednesday, on Friday, we're going to be putting up some oldies but goodies, but I'll be back here next Sunday. So we're going to put some replays up on our social media for Wednesday and Friday. I want to thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas one more time as we say goodbye, everyone. And I thank you so very much for being here. Have a great rest of your day. See you.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.